Okay, and you're back online.
Thank you. So
Okay.
Jennifer, there's not really anything else other than when our next meeting is going to be, right?
You should make a motion to have me, and I think I've got it somewhere on the agenda. I can't see it, of course.
Yes, I
You
see
to
it,
take the
Jennifer.
necessary actions required.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay. Can we make that motion, please?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
I'll second.
I'll second.
All in favor? Okay. Yeah, thank you.
And then my recommendation would be that we continue to meet virtually until such time as we can meet in person. And that we go back to meeting at our regular time.
Okay.
So,
So we're looking at May 19th, the third Tuesday.
Yeah.
At 4 o'clock.
Okay.
Everybody okay with that?
Yes.
okay, okay.
All right.
And
Before we leave the meeting, I wondered, Jennifer, I had some questions about the sort of the strategy moving forward to reopen. We have two branches that are just sitting there. They don't require anything particularly other than complying to whatever guidelines were supplied. But the Stainer branch, the new facility, what's the status there now? We will have to wait still for the movers to do their thing, and where are they at this point in time?
okay, so just before we were ordered to be closed, I believe I discussed with you, Diane, and I phoned the movers and I said, I think we need to postpone. And I was speaking to the president of the organization. For some reason, he answered the phone and he said, well, I'm glad you called because I was just about to call you to say the same thing. He said, my staff have to work very closely to each other, and I'm concerned that, we cannot do physical distancing. And so we have postponed it. Now, this is a company that specializes in library moves. They've postponed a number of other public libraries and moves, including Toronto Public Library for one of their branches and one of the libraries for the University of Toronto. So when we get back up and running, we may have a period of time where we are juggling with them, who they can do, right? So we may not, we're not that big, guys. We may not get optimum time here. So there's that issue. We do not have the collection over there. I have labeled most of the shelving and furniture are over there, and I have labeled most of the shelving both in the existing facility and the new facility so that the movers can easily identify, they pack it, they put it on the right shelves. But I haven't got it all done because we were, first we could work in the library and then we couldn't, so it's not all done. My understanding is, Your Worship, you can, if you know more than I do, please speak up, that there are a couple of items that need to be finalized before we have occupancy from the building officer, chief building officer for the township. And that they're not huge. I mean, at some point, initially contractors could still work, and then they were out too, unless you were working on a hospital or something like that. That was deemed essential. And so there's a couple of little things. It won't take much to get that up and going. And then we have to move the stuff in. So we're even when we can open Creemore and Sunnydale very easily. Stainer is going to take a little while longer.
One of the things I was thinking about is that, oh, sorry, Doug. One of the things I was thinking about was that if we have an extenuated delay in getting into the branch, the new branch, is there any thought been given to continuing to provide some service out of the old branch in the interim?
There's no way we could do that, Bob, because we've already packed a lot of material. The place is a dung heap. I mean, it's meant to, well, we're moving everything, right? It's, there's stuff that we have to move that they can't move. And we have labeled all the shelving. I don't want somebody coming in and moving the labels or them falling off because people are accessing the shelves. Like, I don't think the extra time we're going to be closed is going to be more than a week or two. We also have to think about, how do we open to the public? Are we going to have to incur some additional costs in terms of, I know at the chief librarian's meetings, we're talking about there. We never envisioned that in the new facility or even the old ones. And what we do when people we have over 3,900 materials out right now. Okay, so when they all come back all at once, what do we do with them?
Mhm.
So to date, we're following CDC guidelines on how you deal with that. And the proper way to deal with it is to quarantine the material. So that means 3,900 pieces of things are going to be bagged and left for 3 days.
Mhm.
And then, so I think in trying to get, I don't think we can work out of that branch at this time. It's just not feasible to be halfway through a move and providing any kind of service. But I also think that if we work diligently and bring back our part-time staff and maybe give them a few more hours to help us in this crunch, we can get it done within a few weeks once we've got the all clear to move forward.
Well, there may be some funding from the federal government too for students, right? And you might be able to make use of that. That's a possibility.
Your worship, you want
Sure. Good point, Mary. A couple things I just want to say. First of all, the new branch of the Stainer branch is in the possession of the township right now. The contractors have the locks all work and the alarm systems work and the smoke alarms are active, and so the building is safe and secure and safely locked away. There will be some more work that does need to be completed by our contractor. At the time of the forced closure, there were some materials that were still back ordered that were not available. I understand they're just some small hardware type pieces. They're not structural in any way. And so they haven't been able to meet the completion of the project yet until we get all of that material in. With this COVID-19 delay, there's a delay in actually getting those materials. And so, as Jennifer outlined, they just couldn't complete it at this time. However, the building is very sufficient for us to go in once we're given the go-ahead and the clearance through provincial regulations that we can. And so, as Jennifer outlined, we can begin to get ready and schedule the mover to move us into the new facility. And so, Bob, to your question about the current facility, it would be my thought that I think we've done our last transaction at that facility until we move to the new one. So I don't think there'll be any further activities from the public point of view at the branch down by the park. So I think that's done. And Jennifer's right. There's a lot of work yet to be done to move it. So we have to get to that point where we can reopen facilities. And so I would hope about library services, to another point, is that our New Lowell branch and our Creemore branch would be able to serve the residents across the whole township as they do every day.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments? No? Okay, I guess I'll make a motion, or does somebody want to make a motion to adjourn, please? Pam, Bob, Connie, everybody? Okay. Everybody's keen to go. Okay, thanks everyone.
Thank you, Diane.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks very much, folks. Stay
Okay.
safe.